morning, MPC, and welcome po sa NAB, sir. We have Secretary to the Cabinet, Karlo Nograles. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, opening statement or questions na?
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday and advance happy weekend sa ating po lahat. To all the members of the Malacanang Press Corps, thank you for providing me the opportunity to brief the media and the public about the measures being undertaken by the Cabinet to address several issues that matter to the lives of our citizens. If there is a common thread in the programs I will discuss in the next few minutes, it is that all of them involve multiple agencies and offices, which only highlight the fact that the Duterte administration is adopting a whole-of-government approach to resolving many of the issues that concern our people. Allow me to begin by addressing an issue that the President has called attention to, the delays in land conversion. Several agencies are now working hand-in-hand to streamline the process involved in land conversion. The DAR reported to the Cabinet that there is an urgent need to streamline the current process for land conversion to address pending applications and to fast-track the approval and/or disapproval of new applications. To do this, different departments, namely the DAR, DILG, DENR, DOE, HUD-C, NCIP, NHA, LRA, HLURB, and SHF have decided to work together to draft a joint memorandum circular that will streamline the process of approval or disapproval of land conversion applications from the current 24 to 36 months to 30 days. This memorandum circular will be finalized and presented to the President for his approval within 30 days or on or before the next Cabinet meeting. The government is also stepping up efforts to provide financial assistance to farmers via a financing program to be spearheaded by the Land Bank of the Philippines. The Land Bank of the Philippines presented to the Cabinet the Accessible and Sustainable Lending Program, or ASL, which aims to provide the farmers with financial assistance for their agricultural needs. Land Bank has adopted the model where Land Bank goes to the farmers instead of the farmers going to Land Bank. The projected impact of the farmers' access to loans is supposed to be 100% of the 361,017 agrarian reform beneficiaries with existing individual CLOAs and emancipation titles. Please note that the ASL Farmers Program is being undertaken in compliance with Presidential Directive number 2018-0176, dated April 24, 2018, addressed to Land Bank in coordination with the DA and DAR to extend loans to small farmers, especially the agrarian reform beneficiaries. The ASL was originally launched by the President last July 10, 2018. It was launched in Bayombong, Nueva Ecija, with DAR Secretary John Castriciones appearing on behalf of the President. The modules of the ASL program are as follows. Number 1, lending to individual farmer. Number 2, lending to farmers, cooperatives, and association. And Module 3, lending through the Agri-Cooperative Corporation. Let me stress that the Department of Agriculture has similar programs. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol emphasized that aside from the provision for free tractors, DA is also offering farm machinery loans. On that note, I will now touch upon the financial assistance to farmers care of the Department of Agriculture in the form of loan programs. These loan programs are as follows. The Production Loan Easy Access, or PLEA, which is a credit facility for small and marginal farmers and fisherfolk. The Survival and Recovery Loan, or SURE, is a quick response post-disaster support facility to rehabilitate agricultural and livelihood activities. Capital Loan Easy Access, or CLEA, is a credit window for working capital requirements for the marketing and trading and processing of agri-fishery products. And the Agriculture and Fisheries Machinery Equipment, or AFME, loan program to finance the acquisition of farm machineries, equipment, and facilities. Of course, we'd also like to emphasize that the Department of Agriculture is also emphasizing on agriculture insurance. Next, on illegal drugs. Illegal drugs continue to be a priority of this administration. In fact, last weekend, we held the Rehabinacion, the government's first anti-illegal drug summit. And one of the points raised there was the need to address the demand side of the issue, hence the need to step up the government's preventive drug education program. This program provides for drug education for each grade level from kindergarten all the way to grade 12, aligned with the main curriculum. But it allows schools to introduce preventive drug education in other subject areas. The DepEd is in charge of preparing the lesson plans for kindergarten to grade 12 on life skills for drug abuse prevention and anti-illegal drugs topics. DepEd is also now developing an updated comprehensive supplemental PDE material in cooperation with the Department of Health, the DDB, or Dangerous Drugs Bureau, and other expert resource persons, which will be a major source material for curriculum integration, co-curricular programs, teachers' capacity building, parents' awareness, and education. This will be rolled out in the coming school year. Another program of DepEd is the Barkada Contra Droga. Also, emphasis will be on co-curricular activities such as arts contests, observance of Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Week, putting up of National Drug Education Program corners, and the conduct of parenting seminars and counseling coaching services. Another program is the DARE, or Drug Abuse Resistance Education, wherein active PNP officers undergo 10-day live-in DARE officers training and are certified as DARE officers who are qualified to teach DARE lessons in classrooms. The DepEd will allow uniformed DARE officers to teach 1-hour lessons once a week per section for 17 weeks. With regard to the PhilSys, or the national ID, I would like to provide an updated timeline regarding its implementation. The timeline is as follows. From January to March 2019, the PhilSys strategy and organizational structure and staffing pattern. March 2019 onwards, an extensive information and awareness campaign. March to July 2019 would be the procurement of the PhilSys national ID system. May to December would be systems development, and September 2019 will begin the PhilSys implementation. Obviously, the success of the national ID system will be contingent on the participation of the partner agencies and our stakeholders. For the successful implementation of the PhilSys, the Philippine Statistics Authority is partnering and closely coordinating with other government agencies such as the DFA, the GSIS, the local civil registry offices, PhilHealth, HDMF, COMELEC, PhilPost, DOJ, the Bureau of Immigration, and PCOO. We would also like to inform the media that the military and uniformed personnel pension reform bill will be certified as urgent and needs to be enacted soon, because as a result of the absence of an operational pension fund for military and uniformed personnel, the pension costs will be fully borne by the government and incorporated in the GAA as part of the budget of the DND, AFP, DILG, PNP. The cost of the MUP pension rapidly and significantly increases every year, which results in a fiscal burden with constraint claims against the government's budget. For 2018, the pension budget requirement for MUP amounted to 75.7 billion pesos without contributions from those in active service. And it will increase to around 120 billion pesos in 2019 to cover the recent increase in salary as provided for by Joint Resolution Number 1 signed by the President on January 1, 2018. To address the existing fiscal threat of the current MUP pension system, a uniform pension reform bill is being proposed, which involves the rationalization of the pension system of existing personnel as well as new entrants to the service. With regard to the government's immunization program under the Department of Health, the DOH has been directed to boost communication efforts on the importance of vaccination with the active involvement of government media entities like the PCOO. And to wrap up, permit me to give an update regarding tourism. Government has raised the 2019 tourism arrival target to 8.2 million arrivals, up from 7.1 million in 2018. We believe we can hit our targets as we were able to do so this year, even if there was a temporary shutdown of Boracay. In the next few weeks, the government, spearheaded by the DOT, will launch a new tourism promotions campaign. The DOT Secretary presented to the Cabinet a glimpse of the said campaign, and we believe that this will build upon the efforts of the government to improve existing tourist sites like Boracay, as well as the steps being taken to improve transport infrastructure. That's it, I'm ready now to
Yeah. Thank you,
answer
Secretary
questions.
Nograles. MPC
Thank
question.
you.
MPC. Okay. Virgil or Tina? Tina.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, pakibigyan naman ng context yung hugot ng presidente kahapon. Ba't siya galit na galit nung cabinet meeting tungkol sa issue ng land conversion?
He was exasperated with the number of requirements needed for land conversion. Kasi during the presentation sa gabinete, pinakita po doon yung mga certifications na kinakailangan for processing of land conversion. Mula sa DNR, Department of Agriculture, sa housing agencies natin, sa local government units, and all other agencies and departments. So, kumbaga, the President understood how tedious it is to, in fact, get an application for land conversion acted upon. Kaya nga po, siguro, yung pinakita niyang exasperation was an example of perhaps the exasperation also of our citizens, mga kapwa nating Pilipino, pag nakikita nila yung kung gaano karaming mga papeles at certification ang kinakailangan para ma-process ang kanilang application for land conversion. Kaya nag-usap-usap ang iba't ibang mga ahensya at departamento ng gobyerno na gumawa nga nitong Joint Memorandum Circular para pabilisin ang pag-process ng mga applications hindi lamang sa Department of Agrarian Reform, kundi pati na rin sa iba't ibang mga ahensya at departamento ng gobyerno. So yan yung naging way forward natin, and hopefully that Joint Memorandum Circular will be presented to the President para aksyonan niya, aprubahan niya, and hopefully that will also speed up the process of applications for land conversion. Nung pininesent kasi ng DAR ang kanilang presentation, they were able to commit naman na in their office alone, they will be able to process the application within 30 days. Pero granting na lahat ng mga papeles at requirements ay naandun sa application. So it begs the question, kung sa DAR, ganun kabilis, with the condition na lahat ng mga requirements ay nandun, paano naman yung iba't ibang mga opisina kung saan kinakailangan din yung mga certifications nila. So there has to be a whole of government approach here, and that is the reason why we need that joint memorandum circular.
Follow-up, Tina. A follow-up si Raymond.
It was also discussed, by the way, in the cabinet that one of the ways wherein we can speed up or at least guarantee na the speed of the processing would be sa ease of doing business law. So because of that law, the Ease of Doing Business Act, that was signed by the President, we also hope that we're confident that mapapabilis din natin ang processing ng mga applications. Hindi lamang sa land conversion, pati na rin yung ibang mga dinadaan sa iba't ibang mga opisina ng gobyerno.
Thank you, Secretary. Raymond Tinasa.
Sir, recently the president mentioned that he is about to fire at least 2 officials of the DAR. Did he mention on the cabinet meeting who he's referring to, or will he be pushing firing these DAR officials?
Hindi naman niya binanggit during the cabinet meeting, so ayoko naman i-preempt ang Pangulo kung itutuloy ba niya yan or hindi. Pero dahil sa presentation ng DAR, nakita nga niya na napakabusisi at napakaraming mga requirements ang kinakailangan para umusad ang isang application for land conversion. So dahil dyan, maaring naintindihan na nga niya kung gaano ka tedious yung proseso na yon. Kaya because of that, the cabinet has resolved to immediately come out with a joint memorandum circular that will hopefully speed up the processes. No?
Sir, so you got the feel na during the cabinet meeting, Secretary Castriciones still enjoys the trust and confidence of the president?
Yes, I believe so. I believe DAR Secretary Castriciones still enjoys the trust and confidence of the president. In fact, the president said something to that effect.
Thank you, sir.
Ina. Yeah. Follow up. Ina, then Joseph.
Hi, sir. Sir, just to clarify, so what you're saying is posibleng hindi na po ituloy ni Presidente yung fire of the officials from the conversion office because earlier you mentioned talagang minsan umaabot up to 2 years, which was the period he was complaining about doon sa isang case yata na ikinagalit niya doon sa...
Ayokong pangunahan, pero also presented during the cabinet meeting was, you remember, the past administration, nagkaroon ng may mga moratoriums din kasi nangyari sa land conversion. Even in the previous secretary ng DAR, nagkaroon ng moratorium. So maaring those also contributed to why some applications are still pending. But meron ding prinesenta si DAR Secretary Castriciones na mga hakbang upang mapabilis din yung processing yan dun sa kanyang opisina. In fact, one of the measures that he suggested was pag incomplete ang documents, dapat hindi na agad tanggapin ng DAR. So the 30 days ng processing ng DAR dapat upon submission of all complete documentary requirements. Pero again, it's conditioned on whether or not those documentary requirements have in fact been submitted to DAR. But since some of those documentary requirements involve other offices and departments of government, ganun din. Kung gaano kabilis ang DAR, dapat ganun din kabilis yung mga departments and agencies na yan. That's why we need the whole of government approach here.
And so, since the President now understands how long the process is, his initial plan, so I just have to go back, may be reconsidered.
It was not discussed. He did not make any pronouncement. Ayoko pangunahan.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Joseph.
Sir, I'm just curious, what prompted this, if I can call it an investigation into the process and how slow it is? May mga application ba that the President wants to move and that is not moving?
Siguro, wala namang binanggit during the meeting. I would just surmise that it was brought to his attention. And that is the reason why he wanted to discuss it.
So nothing in particular that was mentioned?
Wala
during the
siyang
cabinet?
binanggit na any particular case. Generally lang, sinabi niya. And in fact, during the presentation nga ng DAR Secretary, indeed, he gave us a glimpse or a summary of the cases pending or how many cases pending at gaano nakatagal.
Do you have the figure now? Or later na lang, sir?
Later na lang.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Sir, are you willing to Do you welcome other questions?
yes.
Okay.
If I am competent to answer.
Tuesday.
Hi, sir. Other matter, sir.
Apa.
May guidance po ba si Presidente para dito kay Budget Secretary Benjamin Jokno after na ma-issuehan siya ng subpoena from the Congress?
Basically, the president trusts and believes in Jokno. He has full faith and confidence in Budget Secretary Jokno. So he leaves it up to Secretary Jokno to do what is necessary and what is right in the matter of whatever is pending in whatever office.
Follow-up, sir. Parang na-brought out ni Bombo Raymond kanina. Being a former congressman, sir, ano ba yung house rules ninyo sa pag-submit ng subpoena and when to respond?
Parang 3 days yata. The subpoena has to be submitted to the resource person, has to be received by the resource person, and he or she has to be given 3 days notice at the very least.
And dito sa nangyari sa House, sir, na nag-issue ng subpoena yesterday and then the following day, pina-attend ng kaagad si Secretary Jokno. Mayroon bang ano dito? Irregularity o tama ba yun o paano ba yan?
As far as that is concerned, I'm not particularly sure if based on my memory kasi of the house rules, dapat may 3-day notice. Yun lang ang alam ko.
So mayroong dahilan si Secretary Jokno to refuse to attend the hearing today dahil kahapon lang daw natanggap yung subpoena from the Congress.
Siguro si Secretary Jokno lang ang dapat tanungin tungkol dyan.
Okay.
Because
Thank
I'm
you, sir.
sure he has his lawyers that he consult, and in fact, I think the Office of the Solicitor General is also helping the Office of Secretary Jokno and coordinating with the Office of Secretary Jokno with regard to legal matters.
Last point, sir. Yung pagpapatawag po kay Secretary Jokno, mayroon pa po bang bisa yon? Knowing that mamayang hapon, ira-ratify na po yung 2019 budget.
What do you mean by visa?
Hindi ba magiging moot and academic na yung pagpapatawag nila kay Secretary Jokno dahil ipapasa na nila yung budget this afternoon?
Hindi kasi ako makaka-comment sa with regard to the intent or actions of the House of Representatives being a separate branch of government from us, sa executive.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tuesday, MPC. Sir, mic please. Cathy, mic please. Salamat.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Balik lang po ako dun sa ease of doing business law. The Anti-Red Tape Authority is set to hold its public consultation for its IRR next week. May mga napag-usapan ba, sir, regarding specific provisions of the IRR for the Anti-Red Tape Authority?
During the cabinet meeting, hindi naman. Although we know that Secretary Mon Lopez is on top of things with regard to the crafting of the IRR and in pushing for this ease of doing business law to move forward. And we understand how important it is, and we understand the urgency also of immediately executing the Ease of Doing Business Act.
Thank you, sir.
MPC, Ina, mic please.
On a somewhat related issue, dun po kay Secretary Jokno, still earlier today, Congressman Andaya accused him, the budget secretary, of basically bribing congressmen. He said, and I quote, he offered the House 40 billion to shut up, for us to shut up about the 70 billion insertions. What does the cabinet or members of the cabinet think of this? considering that, as you mentioned, the president fully trusts his budget secretary, can we expect him perhaps to come to the defense of one of his secretaries?
Well, these are very serious allegations, and we expect Secretary Jokno to answer these allegations. And we, in the cabinet, certainly, and in the administration of President Duterte, we do not resort to things like bribing. So, mabigat yung mga akusasyon. I hope it can be addressed immediately.
Are you going to say do you believe that the secretary would not do that? Are you clearing him, or do you trust that he would not?
I think it should
offer
be
such?
Secretary Jokno who should be answering those allegations point by point. And it will be up to him in what forum he will answer those allegations. So we trust Secretary Jokno enough to do what is right.
Thank you, Ina. MPC, any more questions? Nestor?
Good morning, Secretary. Congress is set to pass the 2019 budget this afternoon. What is the position of the President on the call of Lacson to use his line item veto power to remove the alleged pork insertions made by lawmakers, since there is also question on the alleged insertions from DPWH and some questionable allocations on the government agencies? So, did you discuss this during the cabinet meeting? What's the position of the President on this, sir?
The budget per se was not discussed in the cabinet meeting, although a report was made on the status of the budget and the timeline of the budget. Pero hanggang dun lang yung napag-usapan namin during the cabinet meeting. Now, kami sa executive, the President certainly will be awaiting the action of Congress with regard to the 2019 budget. Obviously, if it is ratified today by both houses of Congress, then it will be transmitted to the President. And kami sa executive branch, meaning the President and perhaps with the assistance of Secretary Ben Jokno, will go through each and every page of the budget. We will go through each and every item, and certainly the President has the power to exercise his line item veto, as he has previously done in past budgets. And obviously, if there is anything illegal or irregular there, then the President will know what to do.
So, Malacanang is assuring the public that the 2019 budget will be pork-free.
Yes, yes, everything, because everything legal here, because obviously the last thing we would want anyone to do is to question it in the Supreme Court. And we want this budget clean, and we want this budget implemented so that we all know and understand how important a budget is to boosting our economic growth and translating that to programs, activities, and projects that will redound to the benefit of our citizens.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nestor. MPC, no more question? Joseph.
So yung sa rice tarification lang, it will lapse on, I think, February 15 or 15.
Yes. Yes, yeah, I think you're right. I
So,
don't
tapos,
memorize
sir-
the date kasi
Okay,
when
no.
it was
So
transmitted.
2 days ago, I think, no, he met with the rice industry stakeholders. And yesterday, si Secretary Panalo said that the President will not veto. But what's taking the President too long to sign it? May mga up for negotiation?
Wala naman siyang binanggit during the cabinet meeting. What he did state was that he will do what is good for the greater good. So he explained to us that there are some decisions that you have to make, but the ultimate consideration will be for the greater good.
Sir, konti lang sa measles outbreak. So
Yes.
yesterday, in passing naman. Pero what is specifically the marching orders for both the DOH, PCO, and maybe PAO? Wala bang effort to convince her to maybe be a little careful with
Well, as
certain
far as the
statements?
Department of Health is concerned, they made a presentation at the cabinet meeting, and the president agreed that the DOH must pursue more aggressive action on addressing this outbreak. The PCOO will help in information dissemination and communicating to the people the importance of vaccination. But as far as the PAO is concerned, I would agree with the statements of Secretary Panelo that obviously the PAO chief is doing her job as far as representing the victims of Dengbaksha is concerned. And I don't think it has anything to do with torpedoing the DOH immunization program. It's just that perhaps because of her personality, Chief Pau Acosta is just very vocal about her passion for protecting the Dengbaksha victims.
You don't think, sir, that there's some kind of maybe misinformation that's been going on with regard to certain vaccines?
Hindi naman siguro yan yung intent. But certainly, I would assume that when the DOJ finally releases a resolution with regard to Dengbaksha cases, then that will fall under the ambit of sub judice, the sub judice doctrine. So, alam naman natin, pag sub judice, pag nag-apply na yung sub judice doctrine, then parties cannot anymore speak about the issues of the case at hand.
Joseph. Joseph, other matters ba? O missiles pa rin? Ay, iba na lang muna. Hindi, follow up lang doon sa missiles kay Raymond. Kung other matters yung sa'yo, Joseph, balik tayo.
Sir, just a quick follow-up. Kasi nabanggit kahapon ni Secretary Panelo na the President mentioned na as a lawyer, he believes na mapapasura lang din naman yung kaso ni Secretary Duque. Hindi pa parang ma-preempt naman na pending the investigation of the Department of Justice sa kaso inihain sa kanila ni Acosta.
I believe Secretary Guevara is an independent-minded and very qualified and competent Secretary of Justice. So I won't worry about that.
Sir, doon din sa performance ng Department of Health, di ba parang the President ordered a more aggressive campaign for the immunization program. So parang do I have the right sense na parang nakulangan ng Pangulo in a way kasi for 2 years ng campaign parang hindi na-meet yung target na immunization?
Hindi naman. I didn't get that sense during the cabinet meeting. And in fact, tama naman yung ginagawa ni Secretary Duque right now because now everybody's talking about it. So now people are now forced and the parents are now forced to reconsider the focus that they have on the vaccination program of the Department of Health. So because people are now talking about it, then I think it will just help the campaign in emphasizing the importance of the vaccination program of the government.
Pwede ba yung sir? Halimbawa, mandatory vaccination lalo sa mga bata, mga infants?
Hindi naman siguro kailangan yan. I think baka ma-question pa yan sa korte somehow. So I think all we need to do is step up the drive. The Department of Health has to step up its drive and involve the local government units. Alam nyo, kung hindi kasama ang local government units dito, in terms of its contribution to this program and in terms of its actions, and even in terms of accountability, I think the LGUs play a very critical and important part in this immunization program and in other programs of government.
Maraming salamat po. MPC, last 2 questions. So let's get back to Joseph.
Sir, kahapon, sa speech ni Presidente, he mentioned in passing this case in Cebu, no? Yung sa party drugs. I was curious whether during the cabinet meeting, meron siya mga instructions with regard to the case?
Wala naman.
Wala, okay. So,
Wala naman.
si